Today video session is Unit 2 from Civics. The lesson name is Central Government. The central government is the supreme government in our country. The headquarters of the central government is at New Delhi. Article 52 to 78 in Part 5 of Indian Constitution deals with the Union Executive. Our Constitution provides for a democratic form of government. The central government consists of three organs, namely Union Executive, Legislature and Judiciary. The Union Executive consists of the President of India, the Vice President and the Council of Ministers, headed by the Prime Minister and the Attorney General of India. The legislature is known as the Parliament. It consists of two houses, that is namely the Rajya Sabha, that is upper house, and the Lok Sabha, that is lower house. Already you know about that. The Union Judiciary consists of the Supreme Court of India. Okay, the President of India. The scheme of a parliamentary system of government provided by the Constitution, the President is the nominal executive authority. The Chief Executive of the Indian Union is the President. He is designated as the first citizen of India. He is the Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces. The President is also the constitutional head of the Union Executive. He is also responsible for constituting the judiciary. According to Article 53 of the Constitution, the executive power of the Union shall be vested in the President, which shall be exercised by him directly or through officers subordinate to him in accordance with the Constitution. Qualification for the election as President. He should be a citizen of India. He must have completed the age of 35 years. He must not hold any office or profit under the union, state or local government. He should have the other qualifications required to become a member of the Lok Sabha. His or her name should be proposed by at least 10 electors and seconded by another 10 electors of the Electoral College, which elects the President. Next one we will see about the election of the President. President is elected by an Electoral College in accordance with the system of proportional representation by means of single transferable vote. The Electoral College consists of the elected members of both houses, that is Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha of the Parliament, and the elected members of the states and elected members of National Capital Territory of Delhi and Puducherry. Powers of the President. The powers and functions of the President of India can be broadly classified under the following categories. That is executive power, legislative power, judiciary power, military power, diplomatic power, emergency power. Let me go through under each heading. First one is executive powers. Article 77 requires that executive action of the Union shall be taken in the name of the President. So, he has to make many appointments to key officers to run the administration. Our President appoints the Prime Minister and the other member of the Council of Ministers, distributing portfolios to them on the advice of the Prime Minister. Portfolios the meaning of partitions of the department. He is responsible for making a wide variety of appointments. These include the appointment of governors of states, the chief justice and other judges of the Supreme Court and High Courts, the Attorney General, etc. He appoints a commission to investigate into the conditions of SCs, STs and other backward classes. He is the Supreme Commander of the Defence Forces of India. In this capacity, the President can appoint Army, Navy and Air Chiefs. Next one is legislative powers. The President is an integral part of the Union Parliament. He inaugurates the session of the Parliament by addressing it after the general election and also at the beginning of the first session each year. The President summons a Parliament at least twice in a year. He may send messages to either house of the Parliament, that is Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, with respect to a bill pending in the house. All bills passed by the Parliament become laws of acts only after getting assent of the President. Money bills cannot be introduced in the Parliament without President approval. President terminates the sessions of both or any of the houses of Parliament. He can even dissolve the Lok Sabha before the expiry of the term of the House. He nominates 12 persons who are eminent in literature, science, sports, art and social service to the Rajya Sabha. He can also nominate 2 persons belonging to Anglo-Indian community to the Lok Sabha if in his opinion that community is inadequately represented in the House. Next one is financial power. Money bill can be introduced in the Parliament, already I said, and annual budget of the central government is presented to the Lok Sabha by the Union Finance Minister only with the permission of the President. The Constitution of India places the contingency fund of India is at the disposal of the President. No demand for a grant can be made except on his recommendation. He can make advances out of the contingency fund of India to meet any unexpected expenditure and recommended the distribution of revenues between central and the state. Contingency fund, that's the meaning of an amount of money that can be used to pay for problems that might happen, that is an emergency. Next one is we will see about judicial power. Article 72 confers on the President power to grant pardons, reprieves, respites or remissions of punishment. In all cases where the punishment or sentence is by a court martial, in all cases where the punishment or sentence is for an offense against a union law, and in all cases where the sentence is a sentence of death, the President is not answerable to any court. He can be subjected to impeachment by the Parliament. Next one is military powers. The supreme command of the defense force of the Union shall be vested in the President, and the exercise thereof shall be regulated by law. The President is thus declared to be the supreme commander of the defense force of the country. In the exercise of this power, it is the President who can declare against a country and make peace. Next one is diplomatic powers. The president appoints Indian diplomats to other countries and receives foreign diplomats posted to India. All treaties and agreements with the foreign states are entered into in the name of the president. Emergency pass. Under Article 352, emergency on the grounds of war, external aggression, or armed rebellion. This is known as national emergency. Under Article 356, declaring that the government in a state cannot be run on in accordance of the provisions of the Constitution. Under Article 360, President, if President is satisfied that the financial stability or the credit of India or any part of India is threatened by reason, it is called financial emergency. Next one, removal of the president. The president shall hold office for a term of 5 years from the date on which he enters this, isn't it? The president may, writing under his hand address to the vice president, resign his office. Article 61, the impeachment action can be brought about in the form of resolution in either house of the parliament. Next one is privileges of the president. The president or the governor of the state shall not be answerable to any court for the exercise and performance of the powers and duties of his office or for any act done or purporting to be done by him in the exercise and performance of those powers and duties. They cannot, they couldn't, they shall not be answerable to any court. Who is that? Our president and the governor. Okay. Vice president. Do you know who is he? Yes, he is our vice president, Mr. Venkaiah Naidu. Okay, the vice president occupies the second highest office in the country. He is accorded a rank next to the president in the official warrant of presidents. Okay, qualification for the elections as vice president. The constitution lays down qualifications for a vice president, presidential candidate. What is that? He should be a citizen of India. He must have completed the age of 35 years. He must not hold any office of profit under the union, state or local government. He should have the other qualifications required to become a member of the Rajya Sabha. Okay, how is Vice President of India elected and how can he be removed from his office? He is an electoral college, he is an elected by the members of an electoral college consisting of the member of both houses of parliament. What is the both houses? What is that? That is Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha. Already I said the term of office of the vice president is 5 years. The vice president may be removed from his office by a resolution of the Council of States. A resolution for this purpose may be moved only after a notice of at least a minimum of 14 days has been given of such an intention. Okay, next one we will see about our Prime Minister. I hope you are all know about our Prime Minister of India. Who is he? Mr. Narendra Modi. Prime Minister of India is the leader of the executive of the government of India. The leader of the majority party in Lok Sabha is appointed by the president as the prime minister. The other ministers are appointed by the president on advice of the prime minister. Next one is Council of Ministers. After the elections, the President of India, on the advice of the Prime Minister, appoints the Council of Ministers. The Constitution of India restricts the number of Council of Ministers, including the Prime Minister, to 15% of the total members of the Lok Sabha. Categories of the ministers. The ministers are classified under 3 ranks. That is cabinet ministers, ministers of state, deputy ministers. Under cabinet ministers, under cabinet ministers, the cabinet is an informal body of senior ministers who form the nucleus of administration, such as defense, finance, external affairs, and home. Under ministers of state belong to the second category of ministers in the council. They are also in charge of ministries or departments, but they do not participate in the meetings of the cabinet unless invited to do so. Next, last one is deputy ministers. They are the lowest ranked ministers in the cabinet. They assist either the ministers of cabinet or state in the performance of the duties entrusted to them. Next one, Parliament of India. The Parliament of India consists of 3 parts. They are the President, Rajya Sabha, Lok Sabha. Rajya Sabha, that is the Council of States. Lok Sabha, the House of the People. The Rajya Sabha is the upper house and the Lok Sabha is the lower house. It is termed as bicameral legislature. We will see about the both houses. Rajya Sabha, the Council of State or Rajya Sabha consists of 250 members, from 238 from the states and the union territories, 12 nominated by presidents. Lok Sabha. The Lok Sabha is the popular house of the Indian Parliament. Maximum number of members can be elected for Lok Sabha is 552. Here 530 members from state, 13 from union territories, 2 from Anglo-Indian community. We will see about the both houses of election. In members of Rajya Sabha process, the process of election is called indirect election, as they are not elected by the people directly. The member of the Lok Sabha are directly elected by the people of the constituencies created on the basis of population. Next one, Speaker. The Speaker. The Lok Sabha is presided over by the Speaker, who is elected by its members. The office of the Speaker occupies an essential position in our parliamentary democracy. The Speaker presides over a joint sitting of the 2 houses of Parliament. He has the power to decide whether a bill is money bill or an ordinary one. The decision of the Speaker on whether a bill is money bill is final. Attorney General of India. Our current Attorney General of India is Mr. K.K. Venugopal. The Constitution has provided for office of the Attorney General for India. He is the highest law officer in the country. He is appointed by the President. He must have been a judge of some high court for 5 years or an advocate of some high court for 10 years or eminent jurist in the opinion of the President. He holds office during the pleasure of the President. That means that he may be removed by the President at any time. He may also quit his office by submitting his resignation to the President. We will see about judiciary. Judiciary is the third organ of the government. It plays a vital role in protecting the rights and freedom of the citizens. It also plays an important role in analyzing and interpreting the provisions of laws and the constitution. Power and functions of the Supreme Court. Okay. The Supreme Court is the guardian of the Constitution. The following are the functions of the Supreme Court. That is, first one is virginal jurisdiction, then appellate jurisdiction, advisory jurisdiction, miscellaneous jurisdiction, and last one is judicial review. We will see about one by one. Virginal jurisdiction. The cases which are brought directly in the first instance to the Supreme Court come under original jurisdiction. These may be dispute between the government of India and one or more states. Or another one, dispute between two states. Another one, the cases involving fundamental rights. That is habeas corpus, mandamus, prohibition, certiorari, warranto. Already you know about that in the last classes. Okay. First one we saw about that. Next one, appellate jurisdiction. The Supreme Court hears appeal against the decisions of High Court in civil, criminal and constitutional cases with the certificate from the High Court that it is fit to appeal in the Supreme Court. Next one is advisory jurisdiction. The Constitution confers of the President the power to refer to the Supreme Court any question of law or fact which in his opinion is of public importance. Next, miscellaneous jurisdiction. The law declared by Supreme Court is binding on all courts within the territory of India. The Supreme Court is authorized to make rules for regulating generally the practice and procedure of the court, approval of the President. The Supreme Court has complete control over its own establishment. The last function is judicial review. The power of the judiciary to declare a law as unconstitutional is known as judicial review. The Supreme Court enjoys this power. The Supreme Court of India has individual review power with regards to dispute. Dispute means in Tamil prachane, that is in problem. Dispute means problem. Dispute between the center and the states. Next, to interpret and clarify provisions of the Constitution about which there are some doubt and differences of opinion, protecting the fundamental rights. Those laws passed by the legislatures which are not in accordance with the Constitution. Thank you, ma. You learn book back questions and book inside also you learn properly. Take care. Thank you, ma.